Hello Dr. P, this is Craig, and this is my sheep's heart right here. The pericardial sac has already been removed, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the three pericardium. There's the fibrous pericardium, which is the most superficial layer of the pericardium, the parietal pericardium, which lies between the visceral pericardium and the fibrous pericardium, and then there's the visceral pericardium, which you see right here. It's also known as the epicardium, and it's the outer layer of the heart tissue. At the inferior portion of the heart right here is called the apex. The superior portion is actually called the base. Now right over here we've got the right atria, and over here we've got the left atria. Blood in the right atrium is actually deoxygenated, while blood in the left atrium is oxygenated. The right auricle is right up here, and the left auricle is right over here. And the right and left auricles are able to increase the atrial volume and receive blood returning to the heart from circulation. Right here, this is the right ventricle, and over here we've got the left ventricle. And the right and left ventricles are the discharging chambers of the heart, and they act as pumps. In between the two, separating them, this is called the interventricular sulcus, and it separates the right and left ventricles. The major blood vessel found in the interventricular sulcus here is the anterior interventricular artery, and that mostly supplies the blood to the two ventricles. At the top right over here, this is called the pulmonary trunk, and the pulmonary trunk carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Now the aorta is in this, let me get to my other thing, is right here. This is where the aorta would be, in this big hole. And the aorta distributes oxygenated blood to all the parts of the body, so it would come out of here and be able to spread blood to the entire body. The ascending aorta would come out, and it's a section between the heart and the arc of aorta. So the aortic arch is one of its three major vessels, and that's the peak part, which looks like a U. So it would come out of here, and then it would bend back down in a U shape, like a U-turn. The brachiocephalic artery comes out, and it's in the mediastinum, and it supplies blood to the right arm, the neck, and the head. The left common keratoid would come out, and it would supply blood to the neck and head with oxygenated blood. And the left subclavian would come out, and it would receive blood from the aorta and supply blood to the left arm. Right over here, this big hole right here, this is called the superior vena cava. And the superior vena cava is a vein that would come out of here, and it carries deoxygenated blood from the upper half of the body to the heart's atrium. The inferior vena cava is a large vein, and it carries deoxygenated blood from the lower half of the body to the right atrium. So it would come through here, and it would go through the heart, coming out over here. The last thing is the coronary sinus. And the coronary sinus is a collection of veins that form a large vessel, and it collects blood from the myocardium and the head and delivers the oxygenated blood to the right atrium. So it would be coming all the way around the heart over here. And that's it for the external part, so we're going to go ahead and go into the internal portion. The next part is the internal anatomy of the heart, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it around to where I cut it down through the center. Now starting on the left side, in the inner wall of the right atrium, we've got the pectinate. Now then the next part is the myocardium, which is on both sides over here. There's on this side, and on this side is the myocardium. And the myocardium on the left ventricle is actually 3 times thicker than the right ventricle, and that's because the left ventricle actually pumps blood throughout the entire body, so it's pumping a larger blood supply. Now the next part is the trabecula carne, and it's on both the inner surfaces of the ventricles, the right and left. Now it's hard to see here, but it's the little grooves down here in the center. It's a little hidden by the shadows though at this moment. The next part is the bicuspid, and that would be at the top up here. There we go. And you can tell because of the 2 little things coming out of it right there. Over here is the tricuspid, and you can tell that one because there's 3 coming out of it over here. There's 1, 2, and then 3 right there. And these are these little stringy things coming out of it. These are called the chordae tendineae, and they leave this and they connect down into the right there. Let me get a better look of it. Push this aside. Right there, which is called the papillary muscle, where my index finger is at right there, so I'll move it out of the way there. That's called the papillary muscle. Now, right down here, through the center, this big thing, jutting out, this is called the interventricular septum, and what that does is it separates the right and the left ventricles over here. Now, the flow of blood through the heart, it starts by coming down in through the right atrium, and it passes from there into the right ventricle. Now, from there, the blood is pumped into the lungs, so it's pumped up by the pulmonary trunk, and it's to pick up oxygen to bring back, because there it's brought back by the pulmonary veins back into the left side of the heart, into the left atrium, and then it passes down into the left ventricle, where it then leaves the body to the rest of it. And that is all. Thank you.